Has an Exit podcast with host Teddy Tarantino. New episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to subscribe.
Welcome to Hell Has an Exit. Today I have someone that I've seen probably since you've been clean.
Yes.
So Dusty.
Dusty.
Is that your real name?
No.
Okay. When did you start going by Dusty?
Using.
Okay, so it's like your username?
But it isn't though. It was like so okay.
Like your childhood name?
My name's Destiny.
Okay.
Right? And so I was in high school and
so
I was
this is
just
like based off something.
They tried to like bully me and I just ran with it. Type of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like this girl would call me like Dusty, which I thought was stupid anyways. Mm-hmm. And then like I was like nodding
dirty
off.
Dusty?
Like no, like she hadn't called me Dusty yet.
Okay.
I was just like always like known as like the drug user. Mm-hmm. So I was like high in class and she called me Dusty and everybody started laughing and I was like, oh my God, assholes. So I just started going by Dusty.
Gotcha.
And it just stuck.
Okay.
Especially in recovery, yeah. It just stuck.
Yeah, so I remember, I think when you just got clean, I met you like at Last Chance.
I think the first time I ever saw you was at a convention.
Okay.
And I like cried.
Why?
Cause like you were the opening speaker and I
was
like,
speaking?
Oh my God. Like, cause
wow.
it's different like seeing people who say they got clean young, but then like seeing somebody like I can imagine you younger. Like I can't imagine my sponsor younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it was just like, oh shit, like it's really like a thing that people can do.
Yeah, so when I first got clean, this guy Steve gave me this CD, like a bunch of speaker tapes, and he gave me this guy Jamie, and Jamie got clean at 15, and he's still clean, by the way, and he's got like 37 years or something crazy now.
That's fucking
so I remember I listened to his speaker tape, and he was talking about getting clean in like the 80s, where there was no young people, you know. And I have a friend, one of my closest friends, got clean at 14. And he was like, bro, I went to meetings for 10 years before I saw other young people.
Bro.
Like, you wouldn't even see young people, you know? But when I got that speaker tape by Jamie, I didn't even realize that he was a real person, you know?
Yeah.
So I had listened to his speaker tape for so long, and then someone was like, you know, he lives in West Palm? And I was like, what? He lives in Florida?
Like he's that close?
Yeah, like he's that close.
Bro.
And then when I met him, I imagined a little kid. I don't know why. And he's like 6'2", jacked, huge guy.
Bro.
And I was just like, oh, like I just in my mind, I'm just imagining like a young kid, you know? But he was like already probably like 40 years old.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Just like, it's also like George. Like when he told me how old he was, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it was hard enough doing it now. I can't imagine like when like the drugs were real.
Yeah, exactly. What was that convention like? How long did you have clean?
I had like 60 days.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like my first
the first young person speaker.
Yeah. It was like the first time that I was like, oh, like maybe I could too, you know, type of thing.
How old were you?
19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were 19, but you also like look a lot
yeah.
younger.
I literally look like I'm 12.
Yeah.
So like it was like the first meeting was really funny. Like 2 people asked me whose kid I was.
Wow.
And like I'm like, fuck, I'm coming off a dope, I'm shaking. And they're like, never mind, you belong here. And I was just like, these people are fucking insane. It was like the first meeting I went to was like a dinosaur one. So it was just like everybody in there was like over the age of 70. And I was like, what's happening? Like, what the fuck is going on?
So what's your story? Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Miami.
Okay.
All over the place. Like
all over Miami.
Like Overtown, Little Haiti, fucking South Miami is where I live now. Like just all over the place. Westchester. I'm like I come from a like really big family. So it's like it's 5 girls that my mom had. I'm the youngest girl, but I am also like it's like a little
5
off.
girls.
Yeah.
In one house.
No, they're way older than me.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom had like 3 with like a previous dude, and like when I came along, like different dad. My mom was 40 when she had me. So I was like a little bit off. So like everybody was like teenagers and I was like a newborn. So it was like a weird dynamic. It was like I was an only child, but like I also wasn't. So just like, yeah, like it was like a pretty normal childhood, a little bit traumatic here and there. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Like my parents tried their hardest. I have a sister who's like exactly like me. So like me and her were just like, we were always like super close compared to like the other ones. And like I started just using a secret. Like it was just like,
what was it about using that like you were attracted to? Was it just like drinking at first?
Oh no, like I skipped. I think I skipped a couple steps. Like the first thing I ever tried was fucking cough syrup.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was promethazine. Yeah. At
How
like
old were you?
12.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I told myself, I was like, I don't want to do drugs. You know, like I don't want, like, cause like I had seen like what it does to a person, and like my parents were always like super honest with me, like brutally honest about like everything from like a really, really young age. So like I understand now that like that they thought that like maybe this will make her not do it, but I was like so curious, and it was also just like I never fucking fit in. Like I didn't, like I felt like something was always wrong with me, and then like I thought it was like, oh, I'm gay, but then I figured that out, and like I was still like something was still off. Like I couldn't make fucking friends. Like I was always just like obsessively into something, and people thought it was really weird. Like I was always made fun of. And then like once I tried like the first substance, I was like, oh shit, like this is what everyone's doing. Like and I felt like everybody had like a handbook of how to life, and like they didn't give me one. Gotcha. And then like I found drugs, and I was like, oh, okay, like everybody's doing this. That's why everybody's so happy. And it wasn't anything crazy. Like I was a kid at first, and then like I think like 15, 16 just went ape shit. Like ape shit, like crazy.
What other drugs did you start doing?
So I had like whatever, I had done like the lean, and I had done it for like a little bit, and I remember like when I didn't have it anymore, and I
so
thought
where
I
were
was
you getting it? Because that's like what everyone always asks me, like where did you get that? Like because
I got it from like this guy in his fucking 30s.
Yeah,
that, like I was just like outside, like nobody my age was cool, so it was just like anybody who's older that would like hang out with a kid, which was really fucking weird, but I thought it was cool. So it was just like this dude, and he was just like, hey, try this, and I was like, is it a drug? But like I didn't know what the fuck it was, you know, because like all I really knew about was like alcohol and weed, and I was like, I don't want to do it, and so like I tried this, and I was like, oh shit. And then like, because it's not really like for me, it wasn't like a crazy ass like the first time smoking weed. It was like pretty subtle. And then like when I didn't have it anymore, like I don't know where the fuck the guy went, lost connection with the guy, and like I got sick for the first time. Like I thought I had like the flu, but I didn't know that I was like
dope sick.
Yeah. And then like I started drinking a little bit, like 14. Like it wasn't like daily. It was like here and there. And then 16, like I started smoking weed, and it was just like, fuck it.
So what happens in your life that kind of leads you to, like, what is the next 2 years like for you to start thinking about, like, maybe I should get clean or, like, have a problem?
Oh. So, like, so I started smoking weed on my birthday, my 16th birthday. And then I became friends with somebody who was, like using, like, other stuff, like pills and, like, coke. And I remember, like, trying, like, Xans for the first time. And then just like fucking making this thing with myself where like I wanted to try every drug at least once. And I was like obsessively. You know what's
so funny is that I met this guy at this bar over the last week, and he was like 30, maybe 35, and he told me the same thing, and I was just like, dude, you're like too old to be. I was like, you're gonna try crack? He's like, yeah, I'll do it like just once. I was like,
you don't do it just once, dude.
I was like, that's so stupid. But then I remember being like, 13 thinking the same thing.
No, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to do everything at least once. And it was just like I would go through like my weird phases of like, I'm really into this one. And then now I'm really into this one. And like, I remember like smoking crack in high school, and like people were like, dude, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, okay. That's not like socially acceptable. Cool. It was fucked up. I was like, well, we smoke weed together. And, like, I pull out a pipe, and everybody's, like, weird. Like, why are you guys making it weird? Like, I'm already paranoid. Like don't do this to me. And then, like, somewhere along, like, 18, I wasn't using opiates for, like, a long time. Like, I found it, like, towards the end of high school. So, like, my senior year was COVID. Just to put it in perspective. Yeah, it was 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it was, like, we had school for, like, a couple months. And then everything else was online. And it was just.
So what's going on with your family? Is your family tripping or trying to get you help, or are they just like out of sight?
So they don't know. They don't know shit.
Gotcha.
They just know I'm smoking. Like I was smoking in my room. Like they just thought I was smoking and like drinking. That was like the max it went. Like my mom would ask me.
Let me ask you, like, because I know you're like a younger generation. It's feel weird, makes me feel old. But it's like, what type of like music are you listening to at this point?
Like 18. I was trying to be like street, and
Okay.
you know, like I thought it was like hot shit. So it was like a lot of like Gucci, Future, Lil Wayne. I liked Eminem, but then I realized like Eminem isn't that cool with my generation.
Yeah.
So I had to like put that like under the covers. Yeah. I really like fucking Lil Peep.
Yeah.
And I was like,
too.
oh, I wanna be Lil Peep so bad. Like,
did you watch his documentary?
yes.
It's so good.
Fucking cried.
Yeah, I love Lil. It's weird because
Bro,
like
I'm obsessed with him, bro.
yeah, because I got so into Lil Peep. I listened like probably the same time. I think like 2020. No, maybe before that.
Yeah.
I think like
2019 was when when I found Lil Peep, and I was like, oh.
I think I found him in 2017, 18, and I think I only listened to Lil Peep for like 2 years.
Bro, it was intense.
Yeah.
Like I have like the back of my neck tatted like him.
Oh, really?
Like the love, the love sucks. I have that. I have a centipede. I have his lyrics. Like,
wow.
yeah, it was intense.
I have a jacket that is all his lyrics written on like a leather jacket.
It's like he
Maybe
was
I'll
just
give
so
it to you.
good.
I never wear it.
Stop.
I'll give it to you.
I'll fucking cry.
Okay, it's kind of big, but
It doesn't matter. I'll make it work, bro.
But yeah, it's
I'll make
all
it work.
Lil Peep lyrics.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Remind me after this.
So I was like really into Peep,
Mm-hmm.
like and like idolizing it, you know, and like the whole like
Were you
drug
into
use.
Juice WRLD?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Especially like after
What's your
finding
sign?
the perks. I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
What's your sign?
I'm a Scorpio,
Mm.
but I only say this because this girl that I'm talking to, she
You like went really quiet.
Well-
I'm talking to her.
No, I mean we're like pretty serious, but I just like didn't know how to say this, but she told me like all of her exes are all Scorpios, and they were all into Juice WRLD and Lil Peep, and I'm like, is that just a Scorpio thing?
No.
Okay,
It's also a Taurus thing.
all right,
But we're like sister signs.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know much
Supposedly.
about astrology.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a lesbian.
Okay.
So there's like, not that I know a lot about astrology. There's a lot of girls that know a lot about astrology.
So you got to try to know a little bit.
No, like I just like it's like unwanted advice.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll just start talking about it, whoever it is.
Do you consider yourself more as like the guy in the relationship?
I hate that question.
Well, I'm just saying because you're like she'll start talking about astrology
Yeah, I mean, I don't really talk about it. I mean, I do sometimes. Like if
because
I'm-
you're less girly.
Yes, definitely less girly. But there's
You're more like the guy who
there's no
doesn't know
dude.
about astrology.
but there's no dude.
Okay, you're the girl that doesn't know about astrology.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm also like not the like I'm not gonna kill a bug
Okay.
type of gay either. You know what I mean? Like it's
Who kills the bug in the relationship?
my girlfriend kills the bugs.
They have to kill him.
Yeah, yeah. Or we both scream together.
Okay.
I'm not doing it.
No
I used to
one
do it
kill-
when I was high because like I was like high and I'm like I
Uh-huh.
don't care. I'll kill this bug for you, baby. But not now.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not about it.
So wait. Okay. So you listen to Lil Peep and Juice
Yes,
WRLD.
yeah. And I'm like idolizing it. Like I'm like chopping up lines to Lil Peep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole thing. And like Euphoria had also came out in
You know, I've
2019.
never seen that.
Bro.
Everybody is like, you, because all the people I went to high school with, they're like, this is you.
It's literally yeah.
It's
Like it's
or high school.
it's so fucked up. Like I remember so like I would watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like my girlfriend at the time, like I lived with this girl for like 2 years. And we would watch it together and she'd be like, you know, you're kind of like Rue. And I'd be like, no, I'm not. But then like when I would watch it, like it would come out like every Sunday. And whatever drug she would do on the screen, I'm doing it with her. It was fucking weird.
Wow.
It was just like
What drugs was she doing?
she was doing fent.
Is she like ketamine?
She was
fentanyl?
doing ketamine. She was doing coke. She was doing Xans. Like
Mhm.
a bunch of pills that I couldn't even know like what the fuck they were.
So I watched one episode, and I guess I watched. So I thought I was watching Euphoria, but I was watching like a Christmas episode or like a bonus episode or something. But it's basically, I don't know if it's the main character, but it's like one of the girls on drugs, and she goes to meet her sponsor at a diner.
Yeah.
And I remember
That's the main character.
Okay, so I remember being like, I don't know, it didn't feel authentic the way a sponsor would really talk to somebody, you know?
I mean, it also like
Because I actually, like, we're in recovery.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I watch movies about drugs and recovery,
it's never the same.
I'm like, that would never happen in a meeting. Like, a
No.
meeting wouldn't even be like that.
No, dude, like no. Like there was like also just like they always get like all the terminology wrong. Like they'll mix it up. Like I was watching Grey's Anatomy, like not really. Like my mom was watching, I was eating, and I'm looking at the screen and like this guy's at a meeting, and it's like they like cross like 12 different fucking
like
fellowships together.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Is this how?" I'm like, "Mom, you've been to a meeting. Like that's not."
And some of the vibes are so weird because a lot of times when I watch meetings in movies, the vibe is so depressing.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times when you go to a meeting, it's like really upbeat and people hanging out and laughing and joking.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that like I watched that one episode and I just was like, whatever.
I mean, like
I want to watch it though.
It was good. Like some people think it's triggering. I don't think anything's triggering like that.
Or everything's triggering.
Cause like in my head, I'm already triggered. You know what I mean? Like I'm already thinking about it, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, I told this girl that I'm dating that I think about drugs every day, specifically shooting heroin almost every single day. Like,
did you ever shoot heroin?
No, but I think that's why.
Yeah.
Because
I never shot
when I
either.
got clean, right before I got clean, everyone I used was started becoming IV drug addicts, and I wanted to so bad. Even when I was using, I used to beg people like, "Let's go get needles."
Yeah.
And my friend, I used to get him heroin, and he was to shoot up in front of me, and I would beg him to shoot me up, and he wouldn't shoot me up. My other friend, he also wouldn't shoot me up. So, which I was like, because you guys know I'm young, like
yeah,
I
fuck you.
like I could smoke crack, but I can't like
can't
you can shoot heroin. And then when I got clean, like pills got so expensive, and people started shooting like Dilaudids. And my first year clean, I just was like, I'll never be able to scratch this itch. Like I have to IV drugs.
Yeah.
And I was really obsessed with IV drugs. And since probably I've been clean, I had like this little mantra that plays in my head that's like shoot heroin, shoot heroin, shoot heroin. And I don't think I've ever told anyone this until this girl was like, "What are you thinking?" And I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that every day. And she was like, "What?"
What the
It
fuck
like
is wrong
freaked
with
her
you?
out.
Yeah.
But I still do think about drugs. And like what I was sharing the other night is like, I think about drugs, but I don't feel like doing them.
Yeah.
It's just like it really is far away.
Yeah.
Like the drug is so far in my mind. It's just like I just see them.
I'll like play with the thought. Like I'll like picture it. I'm like, but then I try to fit it into my life, and it just like there's no point in like doing the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like it seems like a really unrealistic thing that I would do. It's like if there's traffic and you just think like you could just fly over it, like you just can't.
Or like just like any intrusive thought. Where it's like run into this wall.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm not going to. But like,
or man, I want to kill my boss. Like I'm not gonna kill.
Or like
my
I
boss.
just like imagine like hating somebody really fucking hard in a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it.
But you think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about it a lot.
Yeah, same thing. What were we talking about? Euphoria.
Euphoria.
Yeah. So
2019 Getting High.
Okay. Yeah.
Music.
But you loved Euphoria. You liked the show.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. So like the
I gotta
second
watch
season
it.
came out when I was already clean.
Oh wow.
And she actually gets clean at the end of the second season.
Oh wow. You know what? That was like Eminem for me.
And I was like, oh my god, dude. Oh yeah.
Because me and him got clean a month apart.
Yeah, you were getting clean when I was like fucking like 4 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy. Weird to think about, right? Wow.
It's really weird.
So I got clean in 2008, and Eminem got clean in 2008 too. But I didn't know he was clean until I had like 4 months clean.
Oh shit.
So I think like when I had 4, he had like 6. Or I think I have more than him, something like that.
Dude,
but I remember like I was a big Eminem fan, still am. But I remember I was like, Eminem got clean, and he was like into the 12 steps. So a lot of people, like celebrities, they don't like publicly say they're into 12 steps. Like, dude, he had like a big ass like 12-step chain and stuff.
That's
like he was like really into it, you know.
I didn't even know he was clean when I was like getting high to his music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Euphoria.
So senior year, I'm fucking so like scratch that. 16, around that time I also move out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I go live with this girl.
What are you doing for work and money?
I was
Because people always ask, I'm asking questions that people ask me. People are always like, how do you have money at like 12?
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Oh, steal.
Okay.
Like try to sell drugs and then try to break even.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
But at 16 I got my first real job. I was working at Johnny Rockets.
Hell yeah.
Bro, I was like the best. Like since I was always so fucked up, like I would
I feel like no one talks about Johnny Rockets. They're good.
It's awesome.
It's good.
It was like
It's almost like a fucking
it's like a
high
different
class
world.
Checkers.
It's a different fucking world.
They got good milkshakes. The burgers are pretty good.
I actually got my store to like not dance.
They dance?
They dance.
don't
Like
remember
if it's
this.
getting like really really busy, Like they'll fucking start dancing.
And you were like, yo, fuck.
I was like,
dance.
I'm not dancing. We're not fucking dancing. I'm not doing this.
Oh, you protested?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing it. And like my store was like really, really small. So like towards like 6 months in like working there, I worked there for like 2 years, I think. And like towards 6 months into working there, I was running it by myself. I was just like it was like me and a manager, and the manager would just like stay in the office. So I would just like do everything. And I was like, I'm not fucking dancing. Fuck you guys. Like you already have me wearing this godforsaken hat.
Yeah.
Bro, the hat.
You have pictures of it?
Yeah,
Right,
I do.
cool.
Cause like I had like a half shaved head. So I'd put this hat on, and I had like a little bun, and I would just look mad bald. It just was fucked up, dude. I looked like shit. But so I was working there, and I move out of my house, and I'm living with this girl, and like, so her parents would like go out, like they would leave the house like every other weekend, and most of the time like we would just be alone in her room. So like that's where like we were just like, and it was like codependency. Like I had a fucking running buddy that was like always gonna be there, and like two people have a better income, and like we would try to split everything, but like I would always end up using more than her every time, every single time, and like yeah. So like
was she your age or?
Yeah, she was a year younger than me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was using too. Is she clean? Whatever.
She's just like she's not doing the hard stuff, which is good. Shout out her.
Okay.
You know, cool. Like we're not in bad terms.
Okay, you're cool.
Yeah, it was really bad. Like when we like broke up, that was fucked up, dude. Like her parents like forcefully threw me out of the house because they were like, "You're fucking up our daughter."
Yeah.
And I was like, "We're doing it together," but whatever. And like they kicked me out the house. Yeah, it was just a mess. But around that time was when like I got like really into just like mixing a bunch of shit, and like I got real skinny. Like I had gotten.
Were you just buying fentanyl off the street at that point?
No. I was doing like a bunch of just like Xans, Adderall, like a lot of cocaine, meth, crack. Like I remember like when I tried to convince her to do meth for the first time, and she was like, "We're not doing that." And I was like, but I was like so obsessed with drugs that like I would research like how high your fucking dopamine units would hit. So like sex brings it up to 200 units, heroin and coke bring it up to 400 units, and meth shoots it up to 1500 units.
1500.
And I was like, this is the highest we're ever gonna get. We need to fucking do it. Like, are you kidding me? And she was like, we're not doing meth. And I was like, bro. And I don't know how I did it, but I convinced it, and like I got it to go my way. And like I remember, it's actually a funny story. So like I get this like just like a little bag, and I'm like, this isn't gonna do shit to me. Fucking, I try to snort it. I'm crying out the side of my face because it hurts. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, I'm not high. I'm like, we need to make a pipe. So we grab like a bunch of like aluminum foil shits. And I look up, hours have passed. I look around the room. There's like a million different prototypes all over the bed, all over
pipes.
the floor of pipes. And I'm like, I think we might be high. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, maybe. I don't know. And then like I figured out how to smoke it, and then I was just like as soon as I exhaled, I was like, I understand why people get addicted to it.
Yeah, I remember my friend used to tell me that the difference between crack and meth is that when you blow out meth smoke, it falls. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I always want to do is a hot rail.
It was I did
Have you
that.
did a hot rail?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Bro, yeah, I did that.
And not that like, I want to glamorize drugs, but I remember when I got clean, I was like, man, I always want to do a hot rail.
So towards the end of my addiction, I ran out of money. I had 2 jobs, but I still didn't have enough money. And like not many people know it, but like I worked a pretty good fourth step. So I would go on like Grindr. And so like this.
That's for girls too?
No.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, dude.
Oh, and you would rob the plug?
No, dude.
Oh, okay.
Like I was full on like just trading whatever I could for drugs. And it's fucked up because I was a gold star lesbian before that. So like I still have to this day never made out with a dude, but I've done everything else. So like I would fucking find the guys that were like bisexual and that were getting drugs, and I was like, come on, like let's hang out.
Oh, because on Grindr they have all the meth.
And so like I was in this hotel room with like these 2 guys. One of them was like really gay, and the other one was not. And like it was just a really weird dynamic. And I remember just like I was like doing whatever I could. I was like, come on, let's get fucked up. And like they had like the hot rail thing, and they were like, have you done this before? And I was like, no, let's do it. And it was really weird. It was like really warm.
I would imagine. Was it that good, like compared to like smoking it?
It's not as like, I feel like it's not as like what it's hyped up.
What you
to
thought
be.
it would be?
Yeah, no, it was weird. Like I didn't know how to feel about it. because it like snorting his nose and smoking his mouth. So the fact that it's happening at the same time is fucking crazy. Yeah. That was just that one time I did that.
Wow, that's crazy that you would do that. I didn't even think to like that. Like that makes sense that you would do that, because I was like, why Grindr, not like a straight app? But I guess like Grindr is where they.
I would straight app too.
Yeah.
Like they would sometimes have things.
Yeah, but like on Grindr, there's like code for meth.
You know you're gonna get meth. Like there's some fucking like actual opiate users there. So it's like whatever they had, I was like, okay, let's go hang out.
What Well, it's so crazy to think about. What, and your parents didn't know anything at this point?
No, they didn't know anything until I OD'd for the first time.
Wow. How was that? Like, how did that happen?
So I was 18.
What was that day like?
Oh my God. So I had started using what I thought was Percocets. There weren't any.
They're just fake.
I never used any real opiate. Like, I'm convinced.
Yeah. So like owning drug rehabs is so funny that it's not funny, but we would have so many people come in. They're like, oh, my drug of choice is Percocets or whatever. And then we drug test them and there's just fentanyl. And they would be like, no way, I've never done fentanyl. I would never do that. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude.
There was people, like, even now that come into the rooms and they're like, yeah, I was just using perks. I was like, they're not real, dude.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, just because you weren't buying, like, straight fentanyl patches or, like, bags doesn't mean you weren't using it. Like.
Yeah, I have a friend who, like, can't say he did heroin. Like, he, like, feels ashamed about it. And I'm like.
I never did heroin either, bro.
I was like.
Convinced.
Well, the thing is that it's all in the opiate family. So
yeah, it's
like,
all the same shit.
So
it's
like, what are we talking about? It's like a French fry or a potato. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you're still eating a potato.
It's
you
still
know?
like the same effect. Like, you're still gonna get itchy. You might still throw up.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
The same thing.
And it's crazy how people are like snobby about that. But I remember my friend. He'd be like, no, I was doing China White.
Yeah, right?
Like,
bro,
I was like, no, dude, it's heroin. And then even if it's not heroin, it's fentanyl. If it's not fentanyl, it's a pill. Okay, maybe you got a real one. It's still opiates. It's like the same thing.
There would be people that would like pride themselves off of like, I did real ones. Okay, dude, we're still here at the same place, you know? So I'm using opiates and like I think I'm getting like real perk 30s. There's no such thing as a fucking perk 30. Like, that's what I was told, like, after the fact. So, like, they were these blue, like, the fucking blue end boxes, and I'm doing these things, and I'm mixing it with Xans, and I'm like, this is so fun. And, like, everything was fine for, like, 3 weeks. And then I have it tatted on my arm, because I thought it'd be, like, my only overdose, but it wasn't. So.
You overdosed and then got a tattoo to remember it?
Yeah. Because, like, since my mom knew that, like, the cover was blown, and I was like, oh, I gotta, like, pretend like I stopped, you know? So I have this new girlfriend, and she's got my same name. So, like, we're both named Destiny. I thought that was funny when it was happening. So I met her. So.
How did you meet her?
At like a job. I was working at TGI Fridays. Met her there, and so like it was like the night that I was supposed to hang out with her parents for the first time. And that whole day, I'm fucking popping these pills, and I'm like, and I'm fucked up. And we supposedly went to Topgolf. I barely remember it. I only remember like taking a picture in the bathroom, and then I remember trying to play golf, and I just remember just feeling like I was on the floor the entire time. And she told me like after, she was like, yeah, like you just kept like every time it was your turn, like you would just fall, like you wouldn't even like hit the fucking. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. Like imagine like it's like the first time that I'm meeting her parents, and they just see me falling on my face every time I stand up. And then we get to her house, and I'm like, oh, like I had never like sniffed like what I thought was Percocet, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking snort it. And she was like, are you sure about that? And I was like, yeah. And this girl's like a very, very deep sleeper. Like nothing could have woken her up. So like I'm sitting at the end of her bed, and I remember like she put on a movie, and I remember her falling asleep, and I went and I did like another line, and then I wake up in the hospital. So she said that I had like that she had woken up for some reason because she had to pee or something, which is like super rare. And when she looked at me, I was still at the end of the bed, just laid down, and my face was just blue. And she was like, what the fuck? And she like called 911. They fucking came in.
This was at her parents' house?
At her parents' house.
Damn.
They came in, ripped the door open. They're fucking, and she was in Cutler Bay. Like she lives in Cutler Bay. And my mom lives in South Miami. And she calls my mom. And my mom made it to the hospital in Cutler Bay before the ambulance did. Like that's how fast, like, you know, like one thing about my mom, bro, is like like some people would say enabling, but like she was always like the supportive one.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, she was like, I don't give a fuck what it is. Like, you know, like I'm gonna like help my kid. And so my mom says that she gets to the hospital and like my girlfriend's there, my only friend there like is there, like all my sisters showed up. It was like a fucking family fucking reunion, and she sees that like the ambulance is coming and she runs after this ambulance and I'm on it. Somebody's on top of me fucking giving me CPR and they're Narcaning me and I'm not waking up, and I go in the hospital. And when I wake up, I'm like, oh fuck. Like I'm fucked. Like nobody knew I was using like this bad. And like the doctor comes in and she's like, your parents are outside, like what do we tell them? And I realized, I was like, I just turned 18. I can fucking say whatever. I was like, oh, just tell them I took 1 Xanax and it was laced, because that's what was happening like at the time. And they were like, okay. So my mom found that out and she was like, oh my God, why would you take a pill? And I was like, ah. And my mom like was questioning, like my ex-girlfriend was high as fuck, and she was like, who gave her the pill? And my ex-girlfriend was like, I don't know. And like, damn. I stayed there for like, I think like 8 hours. I would wake up, throw up, shit myself, go back to sleep. It was a fucking mess. And then I got out the hospital and I remember like I was like, oh, I'm never doing that again. And I called the dealer and I was like, fuck you, bro, you fucking served me fake fucking pills, like fuck you. And I go to my house and I start getting sick and I'm like, damn it. So I text him and I'm like, I'm so sorry, bro, my bad, I freaked out. And then like I was like at that point I was like, fuck it, like I just won't mix it anymore. And it's still like, no matter what happened, like I would continue to fucking OD and like do it all over again.
How many times had you OD'd?
11.
11 times?
Yeah.
What?
My mom doesn't know about most of them. There was like this one where I was at a different girl's house and I just passed out on her bed and she didn't even like call the fucking cops. She like just called my mom and my mom went in, picked up my lifeless body, and like I think they like Narcan. I woke up. I don't know what the fuck happened. And like one time I was like in a fucking alley outside of the trap house, just fucking like some homeless person like Narcan me. I was in a dumpster another time. Wow. Yeah. Like other times I had gone to the hospital, didn't tell nobody I was in the hospital. Like it was just it was a mess. It was fucked up.
So during these overdoses, are you thinking about getting clean?
I didn't know about, all I knew about was about treatment. Because I have a sister who had gone to treatment. That was it. Like all I knew was like rehab and then that's it. You're like cured. That's what I thought it was. And like I didn't want to. Like I would wake, like I thought that I was going to die before the age of 20. Like I had it set in my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go out like fucking Lil Peep, like on some crazy shit. And just, that's it. Like that's going to be my story. And like it was like a very like dark, like the last couple of months using was dark. Like I just thought like I really was like, there's no hope for me at all. Like it was like I was tricking and then ODing and then tricking and then ODing and like trying to keep up appearances at my job, and I got fired from another job and like nobody was talking to me anymore. Like nobody was talking to me. And like I just fucking like, so my clean date is February 16th. My parents' anniversary is February 14th. And they would like sometimes like
that's Valentine's Day?
Yeah. They would like leave town to go to like the beach, you know? And like every time they would leave, they would like be so scared of like leaving me home, because every time they would come back something happened. And like they leave this last time and I'm promising them, I'm like, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine, like we're gonna be good. And I had like this party. It was like the girl I was seeing at the time, my ex-girlfriend, her little sister, and I think this one dude. And I had bought all this fucking shit. Like I got so fucked up. I thought I had tried to convince everybody that we could snort weed and get high. And they were like, you can do it. And they let me do it. And like they took my phone away. It was like a whole mess. Like I was just mixing all this shit, and they came home. My mom came home and my ex was like, oh, she was doing fucking ketamine and blah, 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 blah. And then I had like gone to work. So like it's like the busiest day in a restaurant, like weekend in a restaurant is like Valentine's Day, because everybody's going on dates. And I was a bartender, and they had given me like so many chances of like, you need help, or like, you know, please don't come to work fucked up this time. And I was bartending with another girl, and I remember I I got to work and I copped directly, like as soon as I came into work. And I just remember at one point I black out and I wake up at home. And I wake up the next day and I'm already dope sick. Like the most of like my using was just like towards the end was just like I was just dope sick and I was like trying not to be sick. And so I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have to go open the store today. And I wake up in my uniform and I'm like, whatever. So I walk to work. Disgusting. Like I didn't even shower, nothing, right? So I walk into work and like the managers are looking at me and I'm like, and they're coming to the office and I'm like, oh God, what did I do now? Like fuck. And they take me to the office and they're like, do you remember what happened last night? And I was like, not really, no. And they were like, you're not wondering like why you were sent home early on the busiest night of the year? And I was like, no. And they play the tapes.
Oh no.
Bro, it was a fucking mess. So like it cuts to me going to the bathroom 30 minutes into my shift, me coming back out, me going back into the bathroom, me coming back out. And I just I take pills behind the bar and I fucking down it with like the Patron that's there. I'm talking shit to everybody. I'm walking around the store. I'm not doing my job. I progressively get higher. Like I'm popping more pills. And then at one point, like I try to steal from like the shared tip jar and I stick it in my pockets. And then like the bartender watches me do it. Cause like I'm like on like a lot of Xans and a lot of Percocets. So she watches me do it and she puts the tip jar, like she hides the tip jar. I come back around. I'm looking for the tip jar. I can't find it. I'm like, what the fuck? Cuts to me opening the register, taking all the money out of the register and putting it in my pockets. And then I decide I'm going to do my job. It cuts me walking to the back, grabbing a burger. Like, let's say like you're at the table. I walk right up to the table like this, drop the burger. Burger's all over the floor. I bend down. I reassemble it.
No, and
I
then
put it on the table.
No.
And I walked away. And then you see the manager going like this, and I'm like, and I walk out. And I'm sitting there and I'm crying. And I'm like, shit, like this is bad, you know? Because like I'm seeing it firsthand, like it's so fucking embarrassing. And I go like this and I stop crying. I felt all the money in my pockets and I was like, all I need to do is leave this office and I can go use and pretend like it didn't happen. And I'm like, okay, I understand. I'm going to go get help. I'm like doing the whole thing. And I get up to leave and they're like, wait, empty your pockets. And I'm like, shit. So I did it.
Damn.
And they were like, you really need help. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I walked out, called my mom, and I went to her job. And I was like, I need you to send me to treatment right now. And she was like, what the fuck, man? Like, you can't just like say that, you know? So she's calling places. I didn't have the right insurance. There's a fucking problem with every place she's calling. They don't have a bed. I'm like, I need a bed today, or I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what kicked in. Like, I had like these like 15 minutes of just like, something's wrong and I need help. And like I asked. And then I went on my phone and I Googled how to stop doing drugs.
Wow.
The hotline came up and then the number to the church that I go to came up. I was so fucking fried. I called the church. Supposedly the church never answers the phone. This lady who owns it answers the phone. And I'm crying. I'm like, I need a meeting. Like, I don't know what the fucking meeting was. I was like, please help. And she was like, there's one today. And then I went to my first meeting.
And that's the dinosaur meeting?
Yep.
Wow.
Picked up my white chip. And that's
crazy.
It.
You didn't know anything about recovery? So you never went to rehab? Wow.
Kicked dope in the rooms.
Wow. How did you feel about like meetings in the beginning?
Like the first meeting, I really didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like what got me to come back was like there was a pretty girl. And like not even like she's beautiful. Like she's my friend. But at the time, like, it was the only female I saw. So I was like, perfect. And she asked me for my number. So I was like, holy shit. I fucking scored a number. Yeah. First day here. Like, I'm doing something right. You know, I didn't know it was like this kid looks like shit. Yeah. Let me help this newcomer. Yeah. I didn't know it was like that. I thought it was like, she thought I was hot. And she asked me for my number. And she was like, come back tomorrow. And I was like, bet.
So you thought that was going on?
Yeah.
That's funny. What was like your first couple months like?
Shitty. I was kicking dope. Like, I would like walk out the meeting, go throw up. I would shit my pants in the meeting. It was like mad embarrassing. Like, I would fucking just cry. Like, I would sit there and just be like, why are they so happy? Like, this is like shit. And like, I didn't like, my plan was not to stay clean. My plan was to like stay in for like 60 days ish and then go use. And then like something in those 60 days, like just, it didn't happen. Like, I woke up and I forgot that I was like supposed to get high. And I don't know, I just kept it moving.
It's weird how like I could never stay clean, but for some reason when I started to go to meetings, there was just like this weird, like, it's weird because like you want to get high, you normally would, but you just know there's this thing you're going to that like
people care.
People kind of care, and they're going to ask you how long you've been clean. And like, I don't know. It's weird because like, even when I stayed clean, I would look back and be like, how come I haven't used? And like, there wouldn't be like, and it's crazy because like like, I don't want to disappoint my family, but I would never stay clean just to not disappoint my family. But for some reason, I have like this weird bond with these people.
It's like random people that I met 2 months ago, and I'm like, I don't want to let them down. Like, would they really have cared? Yes, for a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think it's because like your family, you think that I would think that my family only cares because they're like my family.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, these random people, and like they're addicts too, and then like. Even like when you get like a little commitment, you'll be like, I want to get high, but like I fucking have to.
I'm the coffee person.
Oh, you're the coffee person?
No, but it's like at the time I was like, I have to make, like, who's gonna make the coffee?
Yeah.
I thought that the meeting revolved around me, which is like where I'm grateful for like the self-centeredness, because I thought it really mattered. Like, it does matter.
Yeah.
But I thought it mattered so much that I was doing it. But no, it was like the people, and like people would like like I like got like this overwhelming, like when I got clean, like overwhelming amount of love. Like, it was intense. Like, I look back and I'm like, how did I not run away? Like, it was a lot. Like, everybody was just like, I love you, and like just grabbing me. Like, I was little. I weighed like 75 pounds when I got clean. I was a skinny motherfucker. And it was just like a lot of love. Like, everybody was like, we don't want you to die. Like, and it felt fucking nice.
Yeah.
It felt really good.
Yeah, I still remember like some of my first couple of hugs. Like this woman, Charity, like shout out to her. Man, there was times where she had hugged me, and like it would make me feel like I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like she would just hug me and tell me she loved me, and like, we need you.
And I was like, oh my God, me?
Yeah.
Like, that shit was crazy. Yeah. I don't know where I found like the passion or anything. It was just like kind of just happened on its own, I guess.
When did you get? What did you get? Like really gun ho with recovery immediately?
Oh yeah. Like it wasn't like a pink cloud. Like I was like fucking like it was shitty. Yeah. But I was like, it's like something in me like wanted to see it through, and like I saw like how good everyone like life was getting, and I was like, fuck, man, like, and people were just like, and it was like good, like people cared about where I was at, like people were feeding me, like they didn't care that I didn't have any money or anything, or they're like my first couple of friendships with women were like really weird because I thought like I had to sleep with them, and I didn't, and I was like, oh, you just care. This is getting weird, and like I don't know, like it just became a thing. Like I would just like, and like I used to get like kind of like I would get mad, like because my parents like, like they're like adults and they work hard, so like they'll have a beer on the weekend, and I'd be like, I'm not going home today, because like when I would go home, like I would want to talk to them, or usually I would hang out, have a beer with them, but like now I'm like not doing that, and it was just like fuck, like so I was just like I was out, like I would wake up, go to the church, like 5 minutes away from my house, and I'd be there all day. Like when I was first getting clean, I had no job, I had nowhere to be, so like I was just doing that.
When did you get a sponsor?
Immediately.
Did they pick you or you picked them?
So I wanted the sponsor I have now, shout out Bonnie. I wanted her. Like, so when I met her, I had like 3 days clean, and I go to this meeting, and this fucking older lady is like sitting at the fucking, like sitting on this curb, smoking a cigarette, and like saying a bunch of fucking cuss words. I was like, who the fuck is this bitch? Like, she's crazy. And she looks at me and she's like, who are you, kid? And I was like, my name's Dusty. And she was like, no, the fuck it's not. And I was like, holy shit, how does she know? I'm like, what do you mean it's not that? She's like, what the fuck did your mom name you? And I was like,
wow.
How do you know it's not Dusty? And she was like, because I know, she's like, I don't know of any woman that would have a child in her stomach for 9 months that name it Dusty.
Wow.
And I was like, Jesus, like, I was like, all right. So I told her like my real name. I was like, yeah, like my name's Destiny. And she was like, oh, your mom had dreams for you and you did not live up to them.
Damn.
And I was like, what do you mean by that? She's like, your mom wanted you to be a stripper and you didn't live up to that.
That's funny.
And I was like, that's fucked up. Like, I like you. And then she's like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 19. And she's like, and she started smiling. And like, I didn't get why she was smiling, right? And she's like, how much time do you have? And I was like, 3 days. And she her eyes like got watery. And she was like so happy about it. And I was like, this lady is fucking weird. And then she ended up being the speaker. And like the entire time she's like toned in on me and just like talking to me, and she was like, "You never have to use again." Yeah. And I'm crying and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And there was this guy, his name is Francisco, and he was like, me and him clicked really really fast, and like he was taking me places, like he would just take me to meetings, and I was like, "Tomorrow can we go to like the thing Bonnie's got at the park? Like I want to ask her to sponsor me." He was like, "All right, do it, let's do it." We go over there, and it's hot at the park. I'm kicking dope. I feel like shit. I walk up to her and I'm like, "Hey, I have to ask you something." She's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Can you sponsor me?" And she laughs in my face. And she's like, "Oh, you're so cute." And then she turns around and walks away. I was like, I think she said no. So I go to Francisco. I'm like, "Bro, like, I don't know. Like, this is what happened." He's like, "Ask her again." And I was like, "Okay." I wait like an hour. Do it again. I'm like, "Can you be my sponsor?" But like, I'm stuttering. I'm nervous. And she's like, "Oh, you're so cute." Turns around, walks away. And I was like, "Fuck this lady." So I turned to him. And I was like, "Yo, how much clean time do you have?" And he was like, 2 years. And I was like, "Bet, can you sponsor me?" And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was like, he sponsored me for 11 months.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's exactly what I needed at the time. Like, he was just chill. Like, he was there for me 24/7. Like, he would stay up with me when I really wanted to use.
And then you switched to Bonnie?
Yeah, he fired me. So.
Wow. Why?
Yeah. He was going through, like, a lot of life on life.
Okay.
And, like, he was, like, losing his house. And he was like, "Listen, man, like, I can't be of service to myself. Like, how can I be of service to you?" And I was like, "That's valid." And then I asked Bonnie. And she laughed again in my face and called me cute. And I was like, "Don't fucking do this to me again, bitch." And she was like, "I never said no." And I was like, "You're an asshole."
Wow.
This whole time, like, I thought you said no. Like, I've been avoiding you at meetings because I'm embarrassed.
What was your first like year clean like? Like what were you doing for work? Like how was it with like your family? Like what like obstacles were you finding?
So like I listened to every single suggestion except for one, which is like, don't get into a relationship. I'm a lover boy. And so like I off rip, because I was like, okay, I'm not using. You guys want me to not fuck either? Fuck you, you know? I get now, like, why that's a thing. It's not for the weak. And I was really, really weak. Like, by the grace of God, like, I didn't get high.
Were you, like, so were you just, like, sleeping with people with, like, no attachments? Or are you sleeping and getting attached?
All of it.
Everything.
Everything at once. It was fucked. Like, I had gotten my first job at, like, less than 30 days. And it was just too much for me. I had to wake up at 7 a.m. Like, my fucking coworker used, like, the drugs I used. And I was like, I fucking ghosted them. And I feel like shit about it. And I still feel like, I felt like shit about it in the moment. I felt like shit about it now because, like, they knew I was in recovery. So they probably thought I just, like, died. I was like, damn. So, like, I stopped working there. And then I got this job that this other girl in recovery, like, hooked me up with at another restaurant. So I was doing that. And, like, I was like, I had like this girlfriend, and then we didn't work out. She had way more clean time than I did. And then I meet this. So like, there was like a couple of us that were like really, really young. 2 of them were my age. One was like my best friend. He was like my bro. Me and him were like up and down everywhere together. Like he got me into the gym, like everything. And like, and then we start hanging out with like this other girl, and we're like, now it's like the 3 of us, and we're like all besties. And it's like wherever you'd see me, you'd see them. And then I started dating this girl. She had like 30 days. I had like 6 months. And we're dating, you know, it's a thing. She's my girlfriend. I asked her out. She says she was 19. She turns out she was 18. I don't know why you would lie about that, right? But whatever.
I used to do that.
We move forward. So she, long story short, best friend dude ends up sleeping with both of them. But he's like sleeping with my girlfriend. And they all get high together.
Damn.
Yeah. So
you feel like betrayal on both ends.
It's all over the place. Because I had got really close to like the girl. I had got really close to him. And like that was like my girlfriend. And I was like, you motherfuckers. Shout out to the one who stayed clean, which is the third party, which is like the girl. She just got a year. So like this happened like around a year ago. So, like, it's, like, Halloween, and I'm noticing, like, shit's off. Because the 4 of us usually hang out together. Or, like, my girlfriend will come sleep at my house. And, like, I would go up to the 3 of them, like, separately. And each of them separately had, like, a different excuse for, like, a week straight. And I was like, something ain't right. something's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not in on it, and it's pissing me off. And like, so the girlfriend, she like pulls me to the side one night and she's like, I gotta tell you something that happened. And I'm like, oh God, what happened? And she starts saying like this whole lie about how like my best friend like tried to rape her.
Mm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, you can't talk to him. You can't, he's a bad person. And I was like that's like on one hand, I'm like, how can I not believe a victim?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I'm like, that's my bro. He wouldn't do that. So I called him and he told me everything. He was like, this is what happened. Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sorry. And I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, this is fucked up. And like, it gets like, they end up dating and using and
Mm-hmm.
running off together. And they like tried to surprise me one night. It was like the night that I got my 9 months. They like, I play a lot of pool.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up to the pool house and I
You're
saw
a pool
them.
shark?
A little bit.
Are you good?
It
Okay,
is.
but you
I
just
do it
like
for
playing
fun.
pool? Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm a little competitive with my
Mhm.
friends, but I'm not like.
Okay, you just like going for fun.
Yeah. I go a lot.
Okay.
Like, maybe like a little bit too much.
Uh-huh.
So like.
When I got clean, we would go pool halls and we go
it's-
bowling and
It's so
stuff.
fun.
Yeah.
It's so fucking fun. Like I just get to just like do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they pull up and like I see them from far and I'm like, no way, that's them. Because at this point I didn't really know that they were like together. I thought they just fucked. And like it is what it is. She lied on his name
Mhm.
about like that. So I see them in the car and I'm like, what the fuck? All the recovery was out the window. I start threatening them, trying to punch the car. I fuck up both my hands. I dent the passenger door of this Jeep. I tried to climb on top of the Jeep to go inside through the top. He had like the little convertible thing. I tried to break his window. Like, it's a whole thing. They're laughing at me. And I'm just like so mad.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so then like just going to meetings after that was just like a slap in the face. Cause like everybody kind of knew what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like one day they're all here, the next day they're not. And I'm crying like a bitch in the corner. And I thought I learned my lesson about dating girls in the rooms. I did not.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, so like right before I got my year, or like right as I'm getting my year, I start fucking somebody I'm not supposed to be fucking, which was like my newcomer sponsee sister.
Hang on. Okay, newcomer sponsee sister.
Yeah.
You guys have the same sponsor.
Mm-hmm. My sponsor doesn't play that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was fucked up. And she ends up like doing whatever newcomers do, you know, like with different people. And then I'm heartbroken again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just like took a break. I was like, I'm not talking to girls anymore
Mm-hmm.
because it hurts. And I pick really wrong ones. So
Yeah.
something's obviously wrong with me. And like, I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
Like, it was painfully obvious.
Yeah, I think everyone goes through that. Hopefully people, like, I used to think like it was just natural to grow out of it, but like, man, I've seen people in the rooms with 10 years clean still like, you know, dating like horrible, crazy people. And like, I grew out of dating people that have less clean time, or like a lot less clean time, like newcomers. Like after like 18 months clean, I was like, yeah, I just couldn't see newcomers the same way.
Yeah, no.
And there are still times where like I'm still attracted to like the chaos or like the project or like somebody who like, because I'll see someone like super put together and it'll be like fun, but there's just something about somebody that I don't know, is like struggling in some way, you know.
That's like the fucked
It's
up
like
part.
it's like your brokenness is
It's like,
attracted to
I
like
can
their
fix you.
brokenness. Yeah,
My girlfriend now has more clean time than me, which is good. Yeah.
that's cool.
Shout out to her.
How long you guys been dating?
Since July, so like 5-ish
Okay.
months. Yeah.
What have you learned through the steps?
Oof. I've learned like a little bit about who Dusty is. Like I've learned like not really exactly why I do the things I do, but like I can see like my patterns more clearly now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see like right when I'm about to like do something that's fucked up, or like which defect I'm acting out in. Like I've learned that like I actually do have some type of spirituality, even though like I wasn't raised with any at all.
Mhm.
Like my parents never went to church or anything. Like my mom always told me like church is fake because they take your money.
Mm-hmm.
But then like going to a meeting, I was like, oh my God, they take my money. Is it fake? But no, yeah, like I pray a lot now, which is like really weird because like I was never that type of person to like pray.
Mm-hmm.
But like I just be doing that now. I don't know. I really like steps because it's like every time like I do another one, I'm like, oh, finding out more things and like shit's starting to click.
Mm-hmm.
And like I actually have some clarity where I'm not like.
Yeah, when you get into like a groove with them, you really start to see how they like how intricate they really are. Because like I think when I first started go to meetings, like the 12 steps on the wall, like you don't really understand like how crazy beneficial and perfectly lined up they are. Like you would think like you're just answering questions like you would like in a rehab or something,
so
but like
crazy.
it's really remarkable how much they can change human behavior.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm definitely a better person because of it.
So how long you been clean now?
21 months and like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
21 months and 2 weeks.
So like almost 2 years.
Coming up on 2 years. What do you do for work now?
I work in a law office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're a paralegal?
Nope.
Kind of. What do you do?
No, I'm too young to be a paralegal. I'm a notary.
Okay.
But like we do a lot. Like we do process serving and like just like we work on cases. Like my boss is a private investigator.
Mm-hmm.
So like he'll bring a case and like we'll fucking work on it together. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
It's pretty badass.
I worked at a law office for a little bit when I was
kinda like it.
in college. Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't like it because it was just like, hey, can you put all these in alphabetical order?
Oh,
and
no.
it'd be like a stack to the ceiling. And I'd be like, oh my God.
Fuck that.
And then she'd be like, oh, and chronological. And I would be like, oh,
Fuck
no.
you.
Yeah, it's like the worst. But what do you want to do?
So
What do you see yourself doing?
I'm going to school. I'm about to start in January.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really like it's so weird because I never thought that like I'd actually like do college.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm studying electrical engineering. Yeah, it makes a lot of money.
That's what you want to do?
I'm like really into math.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a little nerd.
You're a math person?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I hate math.
I'm a right brainer.
You're right. I'm a left brainer.
Mm.
What do you do for fun other than pool?
Oh shit, I go to a lot of meetings. I do too much service. I feel like at this moment in time,
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of fucking service. So like I go to a lot of meetings, go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, so there's not much I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the weekends, like me and my girlfriend take turns flying to go see each other.
Oh, she lives far away?
South Carolina.
How did you meet her?
South Carolina convention.
What?
Yep.
You went to a convention in South Carolina and met her?
Yeah.
Wow.
My sponsor was like the main speaker.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like a group of us. We went over there.
You think she would do Hell Has an Exit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
She gets nervous.
Okay, I'll ask her.
It's adorable.
To speak?
Yeah.
Really?
For everything. Wait, who?
Wow.
Bonnie?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, she would love it.
Oh, I was talking about Bonnie.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about your girlfriend?
I was talking, yeah, and then I realized, and I was like, oh, my bad. No, yeah, Bonnie would fucking love it. She would eat this shit up.
Yeah, I'd have your girlfriend on the podcast too if she wants to
She'd
tell her
probably
story.
like shit herself.
Yeah.
But she'd be down.
Bonnie would?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I thought. She seems
You
like
need
someone
to
who
have
speaks.
Bonnie on this
Yeah,
shit.
I have heard.
I think I put her on to you.
She's listening to the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we've done road trips. Like, we'll go up to Broward, and we'll fucking press
Oh,
one.
so that's another thing. So I want to mention that you've been listening to the podcast since the beginning.
Yeah, since I got clean.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how many people it affects because, like, you know, I'm just, like, doing the podcast, coming up with an episode. And, like, every once in a while, I'll see people. Like, I was in California, and this dude was like, dude, me and my girl, every time we're in the car, we listen to the podcast. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that, like, it's become something that is integrated in people's lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, I'll tell people, like a bunch of, like, my newcomer friends will, like, go out, like, especially over Thanksgiving, like, they went to visit their family. I was like, listen, bro, like, if you can't make a meeting, like, listen to a speaker tape. But sometimes, like, listening to a speaker tape, like, if you're not really into it, like, you can't see them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just watch this podcast.
Yeah, sometimes
fucking
like
awesome.
we're so addicted to like the visual aspect.
Yeah, like
of
I need to
it.
be seeing them.
Or sometimes I just want to see like 2 minutes of it to just know what they look like when they're talking.
Yeah.
And then I'll go listen to the audio. But with speaker tapes, it's like there's so many of them on the internet. You don't know which ones are good.
Yeah.
And then like all the ones with like a lot of views, I've already listened to them.
And they have like no fucking good descriptions. It's just like this person, emotional speaking, and it's like not that emotional.
Yeah, and like sometimes I'm like listening to like the reviews or the comments. I'm reading the comments or whatever. I'm just trying to find out if it's good. And a lot of ones on YouTube I've already listened to. And then like when you do when there's a new convention, they'll upload like a whole bunch, but you don't know which ones are good. And then like I don't know. The podcast is cool because I feel like I'm pretty selective with like who I have on here, and like I try to be like a different variety of people, but
especially like I'll go on it and like I'll scroll through and I'm like, I know this guy, and I'll
Yeah.
just go start watching that one.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times I have people on the show that I've known for years, and I still blown away by how much I didn't know about them.
It's awesome.
So it's like a good way to like get to meet people.
You
and
can't really share all of it in meetings.
no, you could go speak at a meeting for an hour and
Not even an hour, like
40
35
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
30
like,
minutes.
with all the shit we do.
Yeah.
It's extra as fuck.
Okay, so you want to go to school. What else do you see for yourself like in the future? I only ask because like for people who are young getting clean, like it's kind of hard for them to envision like having
Yeah.
20 years clean or something, and
Yeah.
like they just think their life is gonna be boring.
I try not to think about it.
Do you feel like, how did you deal with like the boredom of like not using?
I was never bored. Like I was just always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to be. It's like now like I'm more into like just chilling by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But especially in the beginning, like I couldn't be alone. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to go somewhere, I had to be doing something at somebody's house,
Mm-hmm.
even if we're both doing nothing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like super extroverted.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like when I first got clean, like my whole social life was meetings, and like just going to meetings, I just like submerged myself in meetings for, 5 years. So, well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for driving all the way here.
Yeah.
And you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.